Welcome back. What if an ordinary-looking Eisenhower dollar has been quietly hiding remarkable collector secrets all along? Stay with me as we uncover the subtle details, fascinating history, and rare mint characteristics that make some of these iconic coins far more interesting than they first appear. First coin, the 1971 United States Eisenhower Ike dollar, featuring the portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower on the obverse side, entered American pockets as far more than another large dollar coin, because it represented a tribute to one of the nation's most respected military leaders and presidents, while also honoring the spirit of the Apollo 11 moon, landing through the Eagle End moon reverse design. At first glance it appears bold, heavy, and unmistakably American, yet beneath its familiar appearance lies a fascinating story that has captivated collectors for decades. Millions of people have handled these impressive coins without realizing that subtle differences in production, preservation, and striking quality can dramatically separate an ordinary example from one that commands remarkable collector attention. The broad fields, sharply defined lettering, and commanding portrait create an unforgettable visual presence, but hidden within those same details are tiny clues that can transform an overlooked dollar into an exciting discovery. Every nick, every design element, every variation in the strike tells part of the journey from the United States Mint to today's collector market, making this coin far more mysterious than its original face value ever suggested. The debut of the Eisenhower dollar marked the return of a circulating dollar coin after several years without one, and the mint faced enormous expectations as it prepared dies capable of producing such a large modern coin. Philadelphia and Denver struck copper-nickel-clad circulation pieces, while San Francisco produced special collector versions, including silver-clad issues intended for collectors rather than everyday commerce. The size alone made the Ike dollar stand apart from nearly every other coin in circulation, and that broad surface often revealed the smallest imperfections left behind during the minting process. Heavy striking pressure, die fatigue, polishing marks, and subtle planchet inconsistencies could all leave distinctive fingerprints on individual coins. Although most examples entered circulation and accumulated scratches, countless others were carefully saved as souvenirs because they honored Dwight D. Eisenhower, ensuring that decades later collectors would have an enormous variety of conditions and characteristics to study. That combination of widespread production and unexpected diversity continues to fuel curiosity among specialists searching for exceptional survivors. Collectors know that the most exciting discoveries rarely announce themselves immediately, and the 1971 Ike dollar is no exception. A careful examination under bright light can reveal doubled letters, unusual die polishing lines, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, weakly struck details, or dramatic die cracks that create entirely different collecting opportunities. Even the edge, rim, and spacing of the lettering deserve close attention, because seemingly insignificant differences sometimes distinguish ordinary coins from notable mint anomalies. Strike alignment should be checked by rotating the coin correctly, while the rim should appear consistent and well-formed unless an authentic mint error occurred during production. The color can also provide valuable clues, since natural aging differs from artificial tunning or environmental damage. Weight remains equally important because authentic copper-nickel-clad circulation pieces should fall within expected mint tolerances, while unusual deviations deserve careful investigation rather than immediate excitement. Every one of these characteristics adds another layer to the mystery, encouraging collectors to slow down instead of making quick assumptions. Condition often separates a common coin from an extraordinary collectible, especially with a large coin like the Eisenhower dollar where contact marks accumulate easily. Luster flowing across untouched surfaces, crisp hair details in Eisenhower's portrait, strong definition in the eagle's feathers, and clean fields free of distracting abrasions all contribute to higher grades. Many coins that appear attractive to casual observers lose significant collector appeal because of hidden cleaning, polishing, or mishandling that becomes obvious under magnification. Professional grading services evaluate countless characteristics before assigning a certified grade, giving buyers and sellers greater confidence in authenticity and preservation. Before considering any purchase or sale, collectors are encouraged to inspect metal composition, weight, strike quality, rim shape, lettering, and possible doubling. Then seek professional authentication whenever an unusual feature appears. That extra step can prevent costly mistakes while also confirming whether a seemingly ordinary coin possesses something truly remarkable. As the search becomes more focused, the conversation naturally shifts toward collector value, but every figure depends on authenticity, condition, rarity, and verified market demand rather than simple age alone. Some attractive examples displaying minor varieties or collectible characteristics have achieved documented collector or auction results in the neighborhood of approximately $2,500 to $3,500, although such outcomes are never guaranteed and should never be expected for every coin. Exceptionally preserved high-grade pieces with outstanding eye appeal have reached around $5,000 in documented collector markets, while unusual mint anomalies verified through professional examination have occasionally attracted interest approaching $6,000. These numbers reflect individual transactions under favorable circumstances rather than standard prices, reminding collectors that verification remains every bit as valuable as the coin itself. For especially desirable collector pieces combining impressive preservation with sought-after characteristics, documented sales have sometimes climbed toward $7,500, and exceptionally preserved or uncommon examples have reached approximately $8,000 when multiple bidders recognize their importance. Certain unusual finds supported by strong collector demand have approached $8,500, particularly when certified by respected grading services and accompanied by distinctive minting features that separate them from ordinary survivors. Extraordinary or historically significant examples have even reached around $9,000 in documented collector or auction settings, where rarity, condition, and provenance aligned perfectly. But those outcomes remain exceptional rather than typical. Every impressive result serves as a reminder that the collector market rewards originality, authenticity, and preservation, instead of wishful thinking or exaggerated claims. Imagine discovering one of these remarkable Eisenhower dollars tucked inside an inherited collection, forgotten in an old desk drawer, or resting unnoticed inside a family coin jar for decades. The realization that an overlooked keepsake might represent a documented collector prize can feel as thrilling as uncovering a hidden chapter of American history. For some people, an authenticated high-value example could represent the equivalent of a meaningful home down payment, an unexpected financial windfall, or the unforgettable excitement of a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Yet the true reward often extends beyond money because each verified rarity connects its owner to the craftsmanship, history, and remarkable circumstances surrounding its creation. That emotional connection explains why experienced collectors patiently inspect every letter, every rim, every shade of color, every alignment, and every gram of weight before drawing conclusions, knowing that careful observation consistently outperforms rushed assumptions. The 1971 Eisenhower Dollar continues to remind collectors that extraordinary stories often hide inside coins many people overlook, waiting for someone patient enough to recognize the details others ignore. Whether examining a fresh estate collection, browsing a local coin show, or revisiting coins that have remained untouched for years, the next remarkable discovery always begins with curiosity supported by careful study and professional authentication before any sale or purchase. Every authenticated variety, every certified high-grade survivor, and every documented auction result reinforces the enduring fascination surrounding this iconic dollar, without guaranteeing that every similar-looking coin will achieve the same outcome. And just when it seems the Eisenhower dollar has revealed all of its secrets, another legendary American coin, with an even more astonishing collecting mystery, quietly waits to challenge everything you thought you knew about hidden treasures. Next coin. The 1974 United States Eisenhower dollar often looks like nothing more than a hefty old dollar tucked into a forgotten drawer or resting at the bottom of a coin jar. Yet its quiet appearance conceals a story that has fascinated collectors for decades. Its broad portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower gives the coin a commanding presence, while the reverse featuring the eagle descending toward the moon reflects an era when national pride, scientific achievement, and modern coinage briefly came together in a single design. Because so many were produced for circulation, countless people assumed every example would always remain common, allowing remarkable pieces to pass unnoticed from one owner to another. That ordinary reputation became the perfect disguise for a coin that can display unexpected mint characteristics, elusive preservation, and subtle production differences capable of transforming an overlooked keepsake into a remarkable collector conversation. The greatest discoveries rarely begin with a dramatic appearance, and the 1974 dollar proves that some of the most intriguing treasures are hidden inside coins almost everyone believes they already understand. By the time this issue entered production, the United States Mint had gained several years of experience manufacturing the large Eisenhower dollar, but the enormous size of the planchet continued to create unique challenges throughout the striking process. Every die had to transfer intricate details across an unusually wide surface, making consistency more difficult than many smaller denominations. Tiny changes in die wear, polishing, pressure, or metal flow could leave lasting fingerprints that became visible only under careful inspection years later. Philadelphia and Denver produced circulation strikes while San Francisco continued creating collector issues, giving specialists several different versions to study. Although millions entered commerce, relatively few survived with exceptional eye appeal because the large coins collected contact marks quickly during storage and transportation. As decades passed, many examples disappeared into collections, casino inventories, or household containers, creating an unusual blend of availability and scarcity that continues to intrigue experienced numismatists. The visual personality of the 1974 Eisenhower dollar becomes far more interesting the longer it is examined. Strong examples display bold facial contours, sharply defined lettering, and impressive detail across the eagle and lunar landscape, while weaker strikes reveal softer features that tell a different story about the moment they left the dies. Some collectors spend years comparing tiny differences in surface texture, luster, and relief, because every production run carried its own subtle characteristics. Others search for coins displaying natural tunning that developed gradually over decades, creating shades of gold, blue, or gray that enhance originality rather than diminishing it. Unlike obvious damage caused after circulation, authentic mint characteristics follow recognizable patterns, rewarding patient observation instead of quick assumptions. The longer someone studies this seemingly familiar dollar, the more obvious it becomes that no two examples have lived exactly the same journey from the mint to the present day. Some of the greatest excitement surrounding the 1974 issue comes from the possibility of discovering legitimate mint errors hidden in plain sight. Collectors carefully inspect for doubled lettering, misplaced strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, off-center impressions, broodstruck, and other production anomalies that escape normal quality control before entering circulation. Even minor variations can attract attention when they are genuine and properly documented, while dramatic mistakes become prized pieces of minting history. Before drawing conclusions, Responsible collectors compare weight against expected mint specifications, confirm the proper metal composition, evaluate the color for natural aging, inspect strike alignment, examine the rim for unusual expansion or distortion, and search closely for authentic letter doubling rather than damage caused after the coin left the mint. When something truly unusual appears, professional authentication provides the confidence needed before any buying or selling decision, protecting both collectors and the long-term integrity of the hobby. Only after rarity, originality, and condition have been established does the conversation naturally turn toward value, because no impressive price is determined by age alone. Documented collector activity has shown that notable 1974 Eisenhower Dollar examples with desirable characteristics have achieved auction or private sale results ranging from approximately $5,000 to $7,000 under favorable circumstances. Although these outcomes are never guaranteed and depend entirely on authenticity, preservation, demand, and market timing. Higher-grade certified error coins have occasionally realized around $8,000 when multiple collectors competed for exceptional pieces possessing Varieties mint abnormalities. Such results remind collectors that the marketplace rewards quality, documented rarity, and trusted certification rather than assumptions based solely on appearance. As competition intensifies for the finest survivors, values can continue climbing when several important qualities appear together in a single coin. Strong mint state examples with impressive luster, minimal contact marks, and outstanding eye appeal have reached documented results near $8,200 in certain collector markets, while unusual Varieties mint mistakes have sometimes approached approximately $8,700 when rarity and demand aligned. Major authenticated error coins have also reached around $9,000 through documented transactions, involving knowledgeable buyers seeking pieces that rarely become available. Beyond those already remarkable figures, exceptionally rare documented error examples have achieved auction or private sale results reaching as much as $35,000 in extraordinary circumstances. But such outcomes represent the rarest tier of the market and should never be viewed as typical or guaranteed for every similar-looking coin. Stories surrounding the 1974 Eisenhower Dollar often revolve around missed opportunities that linger in family memories for generations. Someone may remember spending a large dollar decades ago simply because it felt inconvenient to carry, never imagining that another example with unusual characteristics might one day become highly desirable among collectors. Another family might uncover a forgotten envelope filled with old coins inherited from a relative who quietly saved them without ever explaining why. In those moments, excitement is driven not only by possible financial value, but by the realization that history can survive unnoticed inside everyday possessions. A single authenticated discovery has the power to change expectations, inspire new collecting passions, or even provide an unexpected financial opportunity. Yet the greatest reward often comes from recognizing what countless others overlooked. The 1974 United States Eisenhower Dollar continues to demonstrate that remarkable collecting stories rarely begin with spectacular appearances, but instead emerge through careful observation, patient research, and responsible verification. Every coin deserves to be examined thoughtfully by checking its weight, metal composition, color, strike alignment, rim expansion, and possible letter doubling before reaching conclusions, while professional authentication remains the most reliable safeguard before selling or purchasing any potentially valuable example. Documented auction records and private sales prove that extraordinary pieces can exist, even though identical results are never promised, and every coin must stand on its own merits. Just when it seems this unassuming dollar has revealed every secret hidden within its massive design, another remarkable American coin waits quietly in the shadows, with an even more astonishing mystery, ready to challenge everything collectors believe they already know. Next up, coin. The 1977 Eisenhower dollar, featuring the portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, appears at first to be nothing more than another oversized dollar that spent years forgotten in dresser drawers, old coffee cans, and inherited collections. Yet that familiar appearance hides one of the most fascinating chapters in modern American coin collecting. Its bold profile, wide fields, and unmistakable size often cause people to overlook the tiny details that experienced collectors search for with incredible patience. Many examples circulated briefly before being stored away, while others remained untouched for decades, preserving subtle characteristics that today spark intense interest among specialists. What makes this coin so captivating is not simply its age or design, but the possibility that an ordinary-looking example may contain clues from the moment it was struck, transforming an everyday keepsake into a remarkable historical artifact with an entirely different story waiting beneath its surface. By 1977, the Eisenhower dollar had already become a familiar part of American coinage, yet it never achieved the widespread everyday use originally hoped for because its large size made it inconvenient for many people to carry. As a result, banks accumulated them, casinos embraced them for gaming, and countless families tucked them away instead of spending them. This unusual pattern created an unexpected collecting landscape where large numbers survived, but surprisingly few remained in truly outstanding condition. The coin itself reflected a period when American minting technology balanced mass production with traditional craftsmanship, and every production run carried tiny differences shaped by die preparation, striking pressure, and manufacturing conditions. Those nearly invisible variations became increasingly important as collectors realized that preserving originality mattered far more than simply owning another large dollar. A closer inspection reveals why so many enthusiasts continue studying the 1977 issue decades after its release. Strongly struck examples display impressive detail throughout Eisenhower's portrait, crisp lettering, and sharply defined features across the reverse design, while weaker strikes may show softness in areas where metal failed to fill the dies completely. The broad surfaces also make every tiny imperfection more noticeable, encouraging careful examination under proper lighting rather than quick judgment with the naked eye. Natural luster flowing evenly across untouched surfaces, attractive original color developed through decades of careful storage, and clean design elements all contribute to a coin's individuality. What appears identical from a distance often becomes surprisingly unique once magnification reveals the countless tiny characteristics that distinguish one specimen from another. Among the greatest attractions for collectors are the legitimate mint-produced irregularities that occasionally escaped quality control and entered circulation unnoticed. Specialists search carefully for doubled letters, dramatic die cracks, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, partial collar errors, and other production anomalies that occurred during the minting process rather than after the coin entered circulation. Each authentic error tells a different manufacturing story, preserving evidence of split-second events inside the mint that would never be intentionally repeated. Before assuming any unusual feature is valuable, responsible collectors compare the coin's weight with official standards, verify the proper metal composition, evaluate strike quality across both sides, inspect the rim for unusual characteristics, and study possible letter doubling under magnification. When an unusual combination of features appears genuine, professional authentication becomes the most reliable way to confirm both authenticity and collector significance. Only after rarity, originality, and preservation have been carefully established does the conversation naturally shift toward collector value, because no single price applies to every 1977 Eisenhower dollar. Documented auction records and collector transactions have shown that authentic examples displaying smaller verified mint errors have sometimes realized between approximately $3,000 and $6,000, depending on condition, certification, and market demand, though these outcomes are never guaranteed. Unusual discoveries possessing distinctive production characteristics have occasionally approached around $6,500 when collectors recognized their scarcity and competed enthusiastically to acquire them. Every impressive sale demonstrates that careful documentation and expert verification often matter just as much as the visible appearance of the coin itself. As quality and rarity increase together, collector interest can rise dramatically. Premium high-grade examples with exceptional surfaces, strong original luster, and minimal distractions have achieved documented results near $7,000 under favorable auction conditions. Significant authenticated error coins combining dramatic minting anomalies with excellent preservation have reached approximately $8,000, while exceptional mint state error examples displaying remarkable originality have occasionally realized around $8,600. Rare verified misstrikes have also approached roughly $9,000 when multiple determined bidders recognize their importance within advanced collections. At the highest level, extraordinary documented examples with exceptional rarity and outstanding certification have reached as much as $11,000 through auction or private collector sales. But those remarkable figures represent uncommon results rather than predictable expectations for every similar-looking coin. Perhaps the most unforgettable stories surrounding this coin come from the people who unknowingly held remarkable discoveries without realizing their importance. A grandparent may have saved several large dollars simply because they seemed unusual, only for later generations to discover that one possessed a genuine mint error overlooked for decades. Another collector might remember receiving an Eisenhower dollar in change years ago, spending it without a second thought, and only later learning how carefully certain examples are now examined by specialists. Those moments remind us that missed opportunities can quietly disappear forever, while unexpected discoveries sometimes arrive when least expected. The emotional impact reaches beyond financial value, because every authenticated rarity connects its owner with an authentic piece of American minting history that survived against remarkable odds. The 1977 Eisenhower dollar continues to inspire collectors because it proves that extraordinary stories can remain hidden inside coins that appear completely ordinary at first glance. Careful observation begins with checking weight, confirming the correct metal composition, evaluating strike quality, examining rim characteristics, and searching patiently for authentic letter doubling before drawing conclusions about rarity or value. Professional authentication remains an essential final step before buying or selling any potentially important specimen, ensuring confidence for both collectors and future owners. Documented auction and collector results show that exceptional examples do exist, even though no outcome is ever guaranteed. And just beyond the mystery of this remarkable dollar waits another American coin whose hidden secrets may be even more astonishing than anyone expects.